Hello everyone, welcome back to another WARNO Deck Deep Dive. This time featuring the 24th Infantry Division of the US Army, which brings some National Guards, currently the only one with that, though that's soon going to change with the 35th coming around. So these guys here have them in Bradleys, and yeah, they have changed quite a bit since we had a last look on them when they came out, so it's time to have them checked out again. They have been nerfed a bit lately, and they were really strong at 1.0 when the Dragon one was completely busted. But they're still a really solid and cool division, so let's have a look in here. Starting in the logistics tab, where we have M35s and M584 A2s here as the supply options, and those are solid options. M35 always good, always efficient to resupply your infantry with its 750 supply, and the big boy over here is good for resupplying your helicopters, your artillery, and can be decent on the front line as well. Just a bit slow there getting there, but it does an okay job there. The Bradley is here as a leader that can survive a bit of artillery, that can defend itself against foxes or helicopters or so trying to ambush it in the rear, as it can kill those off with the Bushmaster when they fly over it, and the Foxman if they run on top of it. And it also can work as a decent leader inside of your Bradley blob, buffing all your Bradleys. So that's a nice combination here, making it the CV of choice for me here. The Mud could be an option as well if you want to have a couple faster CVs, which can be a way to play it. But I like the Bradley in this one. Infantry tab, you get a military police leader. The fireteam leaders are okay as well. But you already have enough Bradleys, and the military police leader has the most hit points, so it can survive artillery shells and stuff like that. And the other good thing about it is that it buffs all your National Guard units, removing the reservist trait, which is pretty high punishment for the stats of the units. Doesn't quite show up like that in the unit card, but it debuffs the units quite solidly in aim time and reload time. And the security trait is a nice buff on top, so that these guys actually can also spot quite decently for themselves. So military police leader, a quite solid one here for the price point. And then we go into the Bradley spam, which is the one of the key components of this deck. We go with the high-end ones here first. Law 1 with 2 veterancy, which is really solid. Fantastic accuracy thanks to that. Fantastic firepower here. And the fire team inside actually pretty solid on the defense as well with 2 veterancy. Deals a good amount of damage to anything trying to push into it. And yeah, we have then 5 more Bradleys here with Dragon 2s, fire teams inside. And those can obviously be really good on the defense as well. So you have 9 Bradleys over these, and then you have 9 National Guard Bradleys with the fire team Law and the National Guard fire team Dragon. So you can always bring out 2 of these with 1 of these, and that's a pretty good strike force. So the National Guard ones taking the enemy fire, dealing out decent damage as well, with the Ito and the Bushmaster, like that can do a good amount of damage. And then the high-end Bradley from the rear is the one that really kills and does the fantastic damage of the Toe 2. So yeah, that combination can work absolute wonders in this. And yeah, the National Guards, you want to keep them somewhat close to military police if possible, but they are okay outside of that as well, as they're just so cheap. And then you have some 10 hit point squads and 9 hit point squads here as well, with the Engineer Dragon and the military police and the air cav, so that you have some chunky infantry units for CQC fights and so on as well. Engineer Dragons there with the shock helping out a bit more. Military police buffing up your other units, getting them faster stress recovery, double M60, helping out as a decent fire support unit as well, and the aircraft troopers coming in actually with security trait, which is nice, and the helicopter helping them getting to a flank. And yeah, those are pretty solid as well. And then a Toe 2 to just kill stuff around the battlefield. Artillery, relatively standard. You don't need it too much, but having 2 M109s around to kill enemy AA, kill enemy ATGM positions is always helpful, so that's what we get here. And then the mortar for smoke push can always be nice as well. So that's what has been done here. Not the biggest fan of the M270 for 1v1 deck. Can be better in team games for sure. Tank tab. you get all the M1 IPs, and then 1 card of the M1 Abrams here. 80 gems, you have enough on your Bradleys that you don't really need them here. So the M1 IPs is the way to go. They will give the enemy a lot of trouble, and then the M1s, if you need more tanks, you have 14 thanks to those, so you can just keep on going with some relatively heavily armored tanks that can deal some damage to the enemy. So the National Guard one obviously suffering a bit under its reservist trait, that makes it pretty easy to route and stress out, so that's for sure an issue, but it's still a decent heavy tank that against light vehicles absolutely can wipe the floor. Recon tab, we get some MWARD 50s here, which are just there as a extra early game tow that also has some recon capabilities and a 50 cal, so that can always be helpful. And then National Guards as a cheap scout, cheap recon unit with a CV, with a transport that can be used with your Bradleys or so as a extra little recon going around with them, with the 50 cal on top, so that you get basically 14 recon units with 1 card. The availability on this card is great. And then snipers, as forward deploy, you get into early positions, and also as a nice, really hard to find recon unit that also can come out with good damage if necessary. AA tab, Chaparral Stingers, good combo, does the job on the AA. The pivots have fallen off a good bit, so the Chaparrals need to do the job. Stingers, always solid, 60% accuracy on them is nice, and with 1 star veterancy they also upvet quite quickly if they deal damage to the enemy, so that is pretty helpful as well. And that's why we take them with 1 veterancy, because the jump from 0 vet to 1 vet is as hard as the jump from 1 vet to 3 vet. For some reason, currently they need to deal 4.8 times their damage, their hit points in damage, or their cost in damage. So to get from 0 to 1 vet, and they need to do only 1.6, and then 3.2 times their cost in damage to jump from 1 to 3, so 4.8 here for all of those level ups as well, and that's a really big one. If you can kill a plane with these then being 3 vet basically many times, or at least 2 vet, getting even lower aim time, getting even higher accuracy, it makes Stingers quite solid in the long run. Even a helicopter kill does get them 1 level veterancy extra there at that point, so that's really good. And then you get some important helicopters. These are really key because you don't have forward deploy in this deck, so you need your helicopters there a bit to help out in scenarios where you can punish enemy forward deploy units, like against divisions that don't have too much forward deploy AA. And they can also help out in the late game as just a unit to break through with getting enough Cobras at one spot to just overwhelm maybe a bit of the enemy air defense. And then in the air tab, we have a seed, we have good AA, and then the Strike Eagles to do the damage to the enemy. Seed helping out them, helping them out getting through, and the Phantoms and the Eagles here just for air supremacy. And they should do the job. Like that combo usually should be good enough to get your air supremacy on the battlefield and then win with that. So yeah, Strike Eagle also can help out in a pinch if needed, though you usually don't want to risk this plane in air-to-air battles. So yeah, that's the 24th deck as it is at the moment. Let me know what you think about it down below. And do you like the Bradley spam at the moment? And do you enjoy this division? I feel like with the Dragon nerf, the division will lose a bit of power here. But on the other side, that will be a buff to IFVs. So with the Medis and Dragons going down in range. So it actually might profit the division more than it loses in the long run, because it's such a heavy IFV focused deck. So I'm really looking forward to how it will perform there. And yeah, see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.